Okay, John, we are recording. Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Danny?
I'm really well. I'm really well. How's lockdown?
Life in Beijing is since I think May, everything is kind of there's been a big shift so that uh, life seems like it's almost back to normal now. So I've been back to work since the May 1st holiday, at the end of the May 1st holiday.
Are you
Prior to that, like in April,
are you
we did
wearing
have yeah.
full PPE?
What's that? No,
Like
no.
a
We
mask?
in our clinic they were only requesting us just to wear masks and the patients to wear masks.
Yeah.
And then they do a lot of screening of patients before they come in. So in China, they have those apps um, that do like contact tracing, so you
Yeah.
can tell like where they've been, and then we check the temperature before they enter too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
And how was
I
it?
think in the hospitals it's more strict. So I think in the hospitals, like if they're going to be inpatients, I think they have to do um, the tests, the COVID-19 tests.
Uh-huh. And have you treated much COVID-19? Like,
No, none, not at all. Because I work in just a private clinic, so the patients we see, we won't see those. I don't think they would come to our clinic to get treated for that. If they did, they would be sent directly to the
sure. No,
hospitals.
but
But then in
maybe
Beijing,
maybe after the disease, they might have a hard time getting better.
right. But I think in Beijing, like it's weird because in Beijing, I think there were only what were the official stats say that there were around 600 cases, and there haven't been any cases since for like the past 54 days or something like
Right.
that, 60
Right.
days. So I think if it was in Wuhan, like where it was like the epicenter, I think that would
Sure.
probably be a lot of probably. I know there are a lot of people that were going there and like treating patients, and some doctors from that area were like sending like reports from the patients they had been treating with TCM.
Yeah.
But in Beijing, like I haven't heard anyone like anyone in like private clinics treating anyone with it. But I know like Dr. Wang has a student who works at one of the TCM hospitals in Beijing, and he was treating like patients in like their hospital who had COVID-19,
Uh-huh. Oh, interesting.
and they were wearing the full like hazmat
Oh,
suit,
yeah. Yeah.
and they were wearing like double layered gloves. And he tried to palpate them patients, but it wasn't working. And then like they had rules with like amount of time that they could spend with each patient, so he couldn't really. They're like, I don't know how much time, but they had to palpate, stick the needles in, and like or not palpate and just like needle them and then move on to the next patient.
Yeah. Okay.
And those
Well,
were like probably more severe.
it's great to have you on. The back to sort of the main matter at hand, which is I
Right.
wanted to ask you, let you tell people about your article that you've written,
Right.
which
The
is going to be,
articles.
I should say, it's going to be in the upcoming issue of the Journal of Chinese Medicine. That's issue 123, and it's our lead article. So over to you, John. Tell us. Tell us.
Oh. Yeah, we're quite honored to have Dr. Wang's article as the lead article of the next issue. I didn't expect that. This article is actually from Dr. Wang has this a little book that a long time ago. I don't know. You might have a copy of this one, but it's just a collection of some of his essays he had written,
Uh-huh.
um, and then it collects over like a 30-year, 40-year period that they made a little small collection of his essays and or articles he had published. And this article is based on his. It was written in like the mid 70s, and it was for a health manual that he created for trainings he was doing for barefoot doctors in a small country, not country, a small village area outside of Beijing. So a small county town called, um,
Michan.
sorry, just totally slipped my mind. But it's
Is it
just a small county town on the
Michan?
outskirts of Beijing.
Michan County?
What's that?
Michan, was it?
It's, I think it's the Mian
Yeah.
county town. It's yeah, where they have that big reservoir. I started to have like the COVID-19 like brain freeze. Um, so yeah, he used to go there quite often, like on a yearly basis. Sometimes he'd go for a month, sometimes 6 months. Sorry, that's my baby crying.
Hey.
1 second. Okay. I think it's okay now. You might have to do some editing.
Wow, you're an amazing parent. Even just seeing you, they stop crying.
So yeah, so this article is like based on his this health manual he created. Like it was a full lecture series on acupuncture, the treatment of acupuncture, like acupuncture points, but he also did like treatment of different diseases. And one of the subjects was on the treatment of epilepsy. So when he was a doctor at that time in the 1970s, at the hospital he was working at, the Beijing Hospital of Chinese Medicine, there's I think he had I don't know how many days per week, but there was a specific, probably a few times per week, he was specifically treating just patients who were suffering from epilepsy or seizures. So, so this article he had written that I translated was based on all the number of years of experience he had gained from just treating all these patients with seizures. So I found like the article is for me was like it's really detailed, as you know, it's quite detailed. He has a lot of information from his own clinical experience, including a lot of different point pairs, a couple of case studies, and I think it's just full of information. And for me, I think just as from a historical perspective, it's very interesting because it's also written during the time when Dr. Wang was establishing his system of applied channel theory. So I'm sure at that time he was starting to use channel palpation or using channel palpation and figuring out channel chi transformation, theories like that. But within the article, you can see a lot of his common point pairs that he used even in the later stage of his career too. So from a historical perspective, I think it's a very interesting article too.
And can you say something about, because you've written commentary as well, right?
Oh, right. Right. So in the original article, there's he lists a lot of point pair combinations that can be used to treat different symptoms associated with seizures. And then there's some that in some of the sections there's not a lot of description of like why those points would work together. So in those cases, I just added some commentary based on like lectures that he had given to us in his when I was studying with him, and yeah, so I try to add some commentary just to kind of flesh out some of the ideas because it mentions some of them like the indications that they can be used to treat those point pairs or their general functions, but sometimes there's some detail missing. So I just added that in to maybe help the readers get a better idea of what he's like how he would understand those point combinations according to channel theory.
And even when you were studying with him, you saw him treat some patients with seizures?
Yeah, actually, like for a long time when I was studying with him, like the first 6 years or so, I didn't really see him treat anyone with epilepsy, but I always heard him lecture about it. And then whenever he lectured about it, he would always talk about the use of Du One to like prolong the time frame between like the aura and the collapse or like loss of consciousness so then he said how Du One is very good at prolonging that time frame. So it gives a lot of his patients at the time enough time to prepare themselves before collapsing to the floor. So it prevented a lot of injury for a lot of the patients. So he would always tell the story of this one patient who was going to a parade, and he had his son on his shoulders, and then he had a seizure. But then the patient was really happy because like he had the premonition, like he knew he was going to have a seizure, like gave him enough time to like put the child on the ground, and then he could lie down on the ground and have the seizure. So when he saw Dr. Wang, he was like, Dr. Wang, I had a seizure. And Dr. Wang was like, oh no, you had a seizure. But he's like, no, it was much better this time. Like I had enough time to prepare myself for it. And my son was on my shoulders. Like in the past, if I had the seizure, I would have collapsed to the ground, and my child would also have fallen down and injured himself too. So he was really happy that he had enough time to like another 20 seconds or so to prepare himself.
And did Dr. Wang talk about his interpretation of what that meant in terms of the patient's qi and blood and yin and yang?
Right. I think because he said that like in a lot of the classics, they mention how Du One is very good at treating seizures, but they don't explain like the details, like what state or what aspect of seizures or which symptom specifically. So then Dr. Wang tried it out on a lot of patients. And it was just through a lot of these cases where after using Du One, he's just testing out. And a lot of patients reported that like, hey, now might have more time for that seizure period.
Yeah.
I mean, before the seizure. So I think like we can say that Do1 is on the one hand, it's like the starting point of the first point of the Do channel. So it can help stimulate the moon of the yang qi, I think, flowing. We also know the Do channel also enters the brain too, right? And
Yeah.
also has the functions of connecting the Rin and Do together through the collaterals. So I think that's a very good regulatory effect on the body. I guess somehow, it stimulates, the qi and blood in this region too.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, I don't want to give too many of the secrets away because
Okay.
people have got to read the article, right? But
Right.
thanks so much for sharing it, and
Yeah, no problem.
we hope it's going to help some patients get better, right?
I hope so too. Like it helped me a lot for. I don't see that many patients with seizures, but I did have a patient a couple of years ago with seizures, and just like Dr. Wang's descriptions of like the pathology of seizures and the different like approaches you can take, including the different point combinations, that really helped me when I was diagnosing that patient. It also gave me more confidence in like how to approach that case. Because sometimes it's, for me at least, it's kind of rare to see, but just learning from Dr. Wang's experience I found was very useful.
Yeah. Great. Well, thanks for talking to us. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Well, I just hopefully because this if people are not familiar with Dr. Wang's system, and if you read the article, you like the article, you can also read more about
available in the foyer.
Yes. Applied Channeling Theory and Chinese Medicine. That's a book that goes into the whole foundation of Dr. Wang's system of applied channeling theory, which includes like theories on channel tree transformation, channel palpation, all the point pairs. It's discussed in a lot of detail. So I think if you're interested, you could further read that in more detail.
Or your other articles, or Mei Li's or Dr. Wang's articles in the journal as well, of course.
Right. There are a lot of articles that like Dr. Wang and apprentices of Dr. Wang, like Jason and Robertson and Mei Li, who have written for, like in your Journal of Chinese Medicine, that are also very good at providing the foundations to this system too.
Right. All right, John, I'm going to let you get on with your evening and get that baby to bed. But it's great to see you, and hopefully we meet in person sometime soon. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and Dr. Wang's legacy with our readers.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Danny. And thanks for, giving us another opportunity again to share Dr. Wang's teachings to everyone in the TCM world.
Anytime. Okay, I'm going to sign off now.
Okay.
Good to see you. Bye for now.
Okay, bye. Bye.